Okay, morning everyone. It's February 1st again and we're going to talk about Black History since it's Black History Month. Now we're going to answer several questions and these include: who created Black History Month? Why was it created? Why was February chosen? Is it serving its purpose? Alright, so let's begin. So Black History Month was created by a man called Carter Godwin Woodson, and he founded it in 1926. And the reason why he did this was because blacks were being neglected in terms of their contribution to the development of America. And he was determined to make sure that all of these people were recognized for the hard work and dedication that they put in, because he had experienced some of this himself as a person who attained his PhD degree, which was a rare feat, especially for a black man. So because he was so disturbed, he decided to write several books about the accomplishments of people of his race, which is the black race. And he also went ahead to establish the Association of Study of Negro Life and History. This was in 1915. Now, the other question that we wanted to ask is, why did he choose February then? Right? So basically he chose February to celebrate the contribution of blacks, and he specifically chose it to honor some famous people such as W.E.B. Du Bois, and Frederick Douglass, and also the then President Abraham Lincoln. Now, I think that was sort of a strategic move, because when you include these famous people, and especially to note that included in those people that are listed, the President Abraham Lincoln and Frederick Douglass both celebrated birthdays in February. Abraham Lincoln's birthday was the 12th and Frederick Douglass was February 14th. So this would have brought a lot of attention to the Negro History Week, which it started originally as the Negro History Week, and then it was extended to a month-long celebration of achievement, right? So if you go and Google it, or you want to do your research, you will see the level of dehumanization that black people were subjected to, and we are strangers to that level of dehumanization. And so it goes back to the reason why it was even created, because we weren't seen as human beings. So whenever we made our achievements, it wouldn't be treated as how a normal human being achievements would be treated. So this was why his contribution was so important. So let's run through some clips from back in the day that I can use. I'm going to use them to establish the level of dehumanization that we underwent. Some of these might be disturbing in terms of the signage, because there are basically some signs that I'm going to show you right now that show how they used to treat us and how they used to sell us back in the day like we were some stock. So based on this sign, police used to be kidnappers of black people. Here is another one advertising an auction date for slaves. This shows a reward for the capture of a runaway slave, Emily. So let's take a look at some achievements by black people. If you go to Google today and click on that image, you'll see Sojourner Truth. And this will tell you the story. She was an African American abolitionist and a women's rights activist. And she was one of the first to represent the rights of women, in particular black women. Also, you have Marcus Garvey, one of our national heroes in Jamaica. He was an orator of black nationalism and Pan-African movements and a bunch of other stuff. Chemotherapy. Dr. Jane C. Wright and her father, they developed chemicals that aggressively defended, or destroyed cancer cells, cancer tissues, you know. Peanut butter by George Washington Carver, touchstone telephone, fiber optic cable. This was made by a physicist by the name of Dr. Shirley Jackson. The carbon filament, carbon filament is an element found in bulbs, and this was developed by Louis Latimer, and he worked alongside Thomas Edison. And as we know, many of these black men and women contributed to a lot of the scientific discoveries, but they weren't given any mention. CCTV, you have Marie Van Britton Brown. Yeah, we don't have time to mention all of the great contributors to our rich black history, But let's move on to the final question. Is it serving its purpose? Is Black History Month serving its purpose? Right? So, all right. So, if we're gonna look on the reason why it was created, it was, as I said earlier, it was created because black people were not recognized for their contribution to society. And so it served as a time where all of these accomplishments were highlighted and celebrated. Now, with respect to that, in my opinion, I think it is serving its purpose, and it has served its purpose. But it doesn't mean that the scope of it is enough. I think that there should be more, because even though it has served its purpose and there's a lot of good that has come out of it, there are also some drawbacks, such as the fact that corporate society has taken advantage of this celebration by hiking the prices of their products, in the name of Black History Month. You have several brands. I'm not going to call any specific brands, but you all know what I'm talking about. When it comes to shoes, even the food, some of the restaurants, they do this too. And it's not only Black History Month. You have a lot of other stuff that they use, in a way like that doesn't contribute to the purpose of Black History Month. We just have to make ourselves aware of that, and then from there we decide what we want to do. And also, the way how the information is delivered. Sometimes when it comes to Black History Month, it leaves a lot of us feeling bitter, which that in itself is not a good thing in terms of, what we want to do to go forward. The reason that I said that it leaves us bitter is because of the background that comes with these accomplishments. Because there's no way we can talk about the achievements and we don't mention what the person had to go through. And it's always going to come down to racism, as the biggest obstacle, which was very dehumanizing. And if you get into the details of it, you'll see what I mean when I say it leaves us feeling bitter. So what can be done? Well, I think what we can do is to do more research. Black History Month, as the name suggests, should be about a time before we were slaves, because we need to change that cycle where every month, every Black History Month, we look at times only when we were enslaved. There was an Africa, we originated not out of slavery, but we were there before slavery, and we were also great before slavery. So we have to put this into it as well. It can't be that alone. So that's my take on it. I think it should be more than what it actually is representing now. I think we should actually teach Black history in the form of, origins, and not just only when we were slaves, because then if we think of ourselves as that just coming out of slavery, then how easy will it be, to emancipate oneself? This could go on and on, but we can't talk too long on this, because it's gonna be too drawn out. So thanks again for watching, and look forward to speaking again. All right, thanks.